Okay, so welcome. So today we'll share about customer journeys first and then how to implement them with Cerberus testing. So who will be sharing today? It's Simon and me. I'm not sure Cedric will join today or maybe not.
No, no, no.
Okay, so it will be
It won't
Simon.
be.
Yeah. Okay. So Simon will share all the how part and the hands-on with Cerberus. So this is what we aim also to do. And I will more do the first part. So if you have any issue or you are curious a bit more about Cerberus, don't forget that there is the channel available with all the replay of Meetup and also specific tutorials, etc. So I will focus first on the first two parts on what is customer journey and the importance of them for the business, and the QA, quality assurance, etc. And Simon, then we'll do the how to use and we'll have space for Q&A at the end. So if we look at customer journey, it's really a business perspective, but we should not look at customer journey from, I would say, a singular perspective. There are various customer journeys that lead a customer from knowing a brand to then buy once and repeatedly. So hence the importance for companies to understand them, to measure them, and to make sure they are working properly from an IT and technological perspective. So, and we see a traditional one, especially on, I would say, a digital business that we are used to with conversion, TTR, and that type of keywords. Maybe just a small disclaimer before we go in a bit more detail on how to monitor and implement customer journeys is that there are a lot of factual elements of customer journey, like is it working or not? Can I click on this button? Can I do this or that? But it's still hard to measure, I would say, the human part and emotional ones. So just to also share that we have limit in what we are doing, and already knowing the limitation of the test we are doing is the first step to improve. So if we look at the traditional way, we will, I would say, abort the test and an IT system. We look at the IT architecture to say, okay, which layer should I test? The presentation layer, the business, the service, etc. So this is a good questioning we should have to know which layer to interact with, what are our entry point. Do we need specific data to access for our test, for example? But what is happening normally is that we have this different perspective between the stakeholders. You have people from IT. Okay, I look at my IT system. It's quite very good design. It's robust. It's reliable, etc. And I also did a lot of unit tests and integration tests between my service and business, etc. But we still have business people, product owner, etc. For example, that can be really asking, but does this product and IT system is supporting my business growth and supporting my customer experience? And this is where usually as a quality assurance people, we are able to connect the dot between business and IT to verify and make the link between the customer journeys and experience we ambition and how the system is responding to them, complementing the IT perspective we can have and must guarantee in the first place. So what are the different type of benefit and value of monitoring customer journey? So we have the first one, a bit trivial, which is to support the first goal of customer journey and customer experience we are providing is to support business performance. So normally in digital business, we measure that as a TTR, so to transformation rate on the website. So the act of finally buying on the digital platform. The second benefit of doing this exercise that we shared in the previous slide is that it is a collaborative exercise that also enable a common vocabulary and alignment. And at the end, what we are able to do is to improve the communication and collaboration between business, development, QA, and operational team because they collaborate on the same type of indicators and KPIs. The third benefit, which is non-trivial, is that as we will run and verify our customer experience and journeys on a regular basis, we are collecting data, if we do it properly, and the fact to collect data ourselves is a first way to measure and improve the customer experience, and it's also a way to avoid relying too much on third-party data provider that most probably in mid-long term will disappear. For the other part that is mainly linked in, if you know the Accelerate report that correlate, I would say, business performance with organizational capability to deliver fast and to recover fast from disruption of services. Customer journey monitoring enables that and contribute to improve two key indicators, the MTTA and the MTTR, so mean time to acknowledge, mean time to recover, because we are always monitoring the customer journey on a regular basis. So any disruption of a service right now is not working anymore, or for example, it's now much more slow to order, to place an order or access my account, you are able to detect this at any time of the day. So a typical example of what happened without customer journey monitoring is that people do a deploy at night because they don't have deploy without downtime, for example. And then when more customers are coming on their digital platform from 8 or 9 a.m., they start to see issues and need to correct after people already have issues and potential users and buyers have issue on their experience. So, and the value is if we are always monitoring, if we do a deploy during the day, during the night, if there is any specific disruption, we increase drastically our probability of detecting and correcting or doing a rollback of our experience. And the end result of all those points is we are able to improve the feedback loop we have on our development process to answer the question of the business is, does what we are developing and delivering to our customer is globally helping to improve our customer satisfaction, experience, and buying habits. Okay. So key elements we need to have in mind on what are customer journeys. They are composed of several layers that are important for two points. The first one is to have a common vocabulary with business, and it will improve the sharing, alignment, and capability of business to collaborate with QA and development. And the second one is that it will enable to have an aligned, I would say, test design with the business perspective. And a good test design is also what will enable us to have a good maintainability of the test. So traditionally for customer journey, we find the stages, steps, touch point, and department. So from my perspective, the main element to use in the customer journey test case design are the first two one, is the stage and the steps, because like that you can build a library and you can then align your reporting on your customer journey various stages and steps, that which is what your business is looking at. And then the touch points are useful to identify the environment that are making sense to use for your customer journey. If specific customer journey, for example, only concern the mobile application, it does not make sense to spend effort to do this on the desktop, for example. It's an example, but it also helps to identify which device, for example, are more pertinent to use. If we go back to the app example, if we want to implement customer journey monitoring, we hopefully, we will not do it only on Android if we are providing Android and iPhone experience to our customer. And then if 80% of our customer base use 5 or 6 different type of iPhone, it will be best to monitor on the 6 different one because the experience can be different and with different reaction. So key element to keep in mind. The message that I was wanting to pass there is that customer journeys can be implemented complementing different type of testing techniques. So you can rely on the famous testing quadrants with the different notion. Here today, we will focus mainly on functional tests that are automated and user acceptance that can at the end support a bit of alpha or beta testing and a part on performance log test because we can be doing the specific subtype of performance test, which is stress testing. So this was just to introduce the type of test techniques we'll use today. And now we will share a concrete case with Simon on Cerberus testing. So just as an introduction, What we will share will focus on the production part of the execution of the customer journey, but it could be on the rest of the chain as needed, and the idea is always to feedback through the entire chain of the development. And we will also do it on a concrete website, a digital platform. So Damar is a French retail company, but so what we share is extrapolable to other type of digital experiences. And we have done already a series of use cases that are examples of the famous stages and steps we shared before, and they are in the standard use case and user format. We will rely so on Cerberus and the three main steps that compose the feedback loop. So I will just share the key elements because the detailed one, Simon will go through during the presentation and the hands-on, but we will share first the test case and how to organize them properly and define the step and action and control. Then we will see on how we can rely on the test execution mechanism inside Cerberus to support the monitoring perspective, so regular execution, etc. And then we'll also look at the reporting part, which is an integrant part of managing what we are doing and monitoring and making sure what we are doing is really answering to the needs. So I'll let you take the control, Simon.
Yes, okay. I will share my screen. You have to stop your sharing. Okay. You see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, let's go. So, as said before, Antoine, we created several test cases about customer journey on the Damar website. So here are the test cases, and we linked each test cases with several labels. First, we have a label about the feature connected to the test case. For example, here I want to check that I can't connect to my account with wrong password, so I created the label connection. So we have, for the same example, connection, home page, account, products, and cards. But we also have a second label, which is common to each test cases. So it's a campaign scheduled, and we'll see just after that this label will help to create a campaign. So we created the test cases, we linked with labels, so now we can create a campaign. So I go in Run, Campaign. Normally, I would click on a create campaign, but I've already created a campaign, so I will just edit this one and show you the settings. So here you can name your campaign, you can add a description. In this tab, you can select the test cases you want to run in your campaign. And I said before, we will use the label campaign scheduled that we created, and we linked to my test cases to add these test cases in my campaign. You have the list of all of your labels is here. And you can also use other criteria to select your test cases. You can use the priority, status, system, etc. In this part, you have to select your environments, countries, and robot list. So robots, it's, for example, your browsers. If you want to run your campaign on several browsers like Chrome, Internet Explorer, or Safari. Environment, if you want to use different environments that you created in Cerberus. So here we use the QA. And countries, if you want to run your campaign in different countries. In this part, you can set several settings, like when you run a test case individually. So you can add a tag, select if you want screenshots in each step, or just when there is an error. You can set a timeout, select retries, etc. The two next tabs are very important. So first one is to schedule your campaign. So you can set your campaign, and you can set a frequency that your campaign will run automatically. So two things you have to write a cron expression to set frequency to your campaign will run. And to create this expression, you can use this link to a website that will help you to create your expression. And so with this expression, you can set whatever your frequency you want to run your campaign. For example, with this one, you can run every weekday at noon. And you can add another frequency, and you will run your frequency, your campaign every 10 minutes, for example. So it's very easy to use, and you just have to add your expression at the end, and it adds in the select here. Oh. The second tab, very important, is the notifications. You have two kinds of notifications: email and Slack. With email, it's very simple. You can you just have to write the emails you want to receive the notification here. And both email and Slack, you can select if you want to receive notification at the start of the execution and end of the execution, here and here. To show you the example, I receive first email at the start of the execution of the campaign I created. It's a simple email, and I have the link to the execution reporting. So if I open it, I'll be redirected on the execution reporting of my campaign. And otherwise, at the end of the campaign, of the run of the campaign, I received a second email, and there I have a recap of the execution with the number of OK, KO, and which tests are in KO or FA. And also here, the link to the execution reporting. So it's very useful because if you're busy during your working day, daily working, you can be notified that a campaign launched and ends. The second point is being notified by Slack. To do this, you have to add the webhook in this part and the Slack channel you want to be notified. To generate the webhook, you have to go on the Slack application website, and there is a method to generate it. I won't explain more this method because Antoine already made a video on YouTube to explain how to configure Slack on Cerberus. But to show you the result, we created a webhook. We generated this webhook and this Slack channel. So we find it here. And as the emails, you have a first notification at the start of the campaign with the link to the execution reporting, and the notification at the end of the campaign with the same link and with the recap of the executions with OK, KO, and failed. So when you finish to set your campaign, your notifications, you just have to save and it's okay. So we saw how to be notified when you created a campaign, but the other point is how to analyze the result of several campaigns over time. To this, you just have to go on execution report, then campaign report over time. Here you select your campaign, so this one. Start date, so from 1st of the month of May, and the end to the end of the month. Here, for example. So I will take every campaign run during May. So we have a first graph that will show us how to show us the duration of each campaign run during the time zone I selected. So this one, and it's very helpful if to explain with this graph if during the execution you have, for example, internet issue, and then the campaign was more longer to run. And you can do after this average and communicate about your campaign duration with the rest of the team. This one is not very important, but very quickly, it's some tests sometimes need some how can I explain it? Some configuration, special configuration to be launched, to be run. So sometimes all of the tests you selected are not run during this campaign, your campaign, but in my case, all the tests we created are very simple, and there is no condition to be run. So we have 7 on 7 test cases, so it's okay. And the last graph I want to show you is this one. Here again, you have all of the campaigns you run during the month, but by per status. So it's very easy to see why sometimes there is a KO or failed test cases, and maybe you can easily explain to the rest of the team. For example, you had a bug at this date, so it's okay. So it's normal that there is some KO on the next campaigns, and then maybe you fixed it, and then you have again a full campaign clean. So with this part of Cerberus, you can very easily analyze several campaigns over time, and then communicate about it.